Hey everyone, how is it going, and welcome to my old school RuneScape chinning guide. In this guide I will show you how to get some of the best range XP possible in the whole game. Requirements to chin at Ape Atoll are 55 range to wield the Chinchompas themselves, Monkey Madness completed to get to the area, and 43 prayer for protect from melee. However, recommended stats are 70 plus range. If you have less range than this, you can obviously chin with less than 70 range, but at that point, you're not going to be getting very good XP per throw on average, and you're going to miss a lot, and in all honesty, you're probably just going to be wasting a lot of money. So I highly recommend having at least 70 plus range, so you're not wasting too much money on chinning. 43 plus prayer, the higher prayer the better, because the longevity of your trips are pretty much dependent upon how long your prayer lasts, so the higher prayer you have, the better. Full Void, it gives a good damage boost and a Salve Amulet EI, which I will explain in just a little bit. Alright, so first of all, let's go over some things that you should know before you go chinning and why you're using certain things. So first of all, let's talk about Full Void. If you wear Full Void range, it gives a plus 10% boost to damage and accuracy. This is straight off the RuneScape wiki. For whatever reason, people always confuse Void and want to say that it gives 20% or 15%. But I'm looking at the RuneScape wiki right now, and it says that Full Void range gives a 10% boost to damage and accuracy, which is actually a pretty big deal. It gives you a lot more damage, and it'll make you hit less, which in turn is going to give you more XP per throw, and will save you chins, because you won't be missing as often. So next, let's talk about the Salve Amulet EI. A Salve Amulet EI is an amulet that you have to enchant by going through Tarn's lair. There are plenty of guides on YouTube as to how to enchant Salve Amulets. It's not too difficult, but if you do want to do this, you could probably find those guides and it'll make it a lot easier. So first of all, you need to enchant your Salve Amulet, and then you have to go to Nightmare Zone and imbue it. It costs 800,000 reward points from Nightmare Zone. And basically what it does is it gives you a 20% boost to range, mage, and melee while attacking undead monsters. And because what we're killing are skeletons, they're obviously undead, so it gives you a nice boost. Now the only issue is that for magic and range hits, it only hits your primary target. So for example, I'm throwing a chin into the group, but because it only works on my primary target, it only gives that extra 20% boost on that one. However, in my experience, I did some tests on Fury versus Salve EI. Despite the fact that it only gives extra damage on one, I was still getting better XP per throw on average and better XP per hour while using the Salve EI. So it may be worth looking into it. I think it's great. Like I said, it's given me better results in the end, so I think it's worth using. It is highly debated as to whether or not it should be used, but I think it is, and if you don't have it, it's not a big deal. Void's pretty important, but the Salve EI, because it is so debated on whether or not it's worth it, it's not that big of a deal. If you don't have one, you could just use a Fury. Alright, so now let's go over our inventory / gear setup. So for our gear setup, we are wearing Full Void, a Salve EI, snakeskin boots, a trim skill cape, 2,000 Chinchompas, Armadillo's book, and a Ring of Life. So obviously Void, Salve EI are things I just talked about. If you don't have a Salve EI, you can always wear a Fury. A hit points cape trimmed. A hit points cape, basically any trim skill cape will work. It's better off to wear a trim skill cape for the prayer bonus than it is to wear Ava's accumulator. A lot of people seem to think that Ava's accumulator is best, but in all reality, at chinning, it is more important to have the extra prayer bonus than it is to get that little small range bonus you get from Ava's. So a good alternative would be a fire cape if you don't have a trim skill cape. I think a fire cape gives 1 range bonus and like 2 prayer bonus, so it's not quite as good as a trim skill cape, but it's still not a bad alternative. 2,000 red Chinchompas simply because you can only throw about 2,000 per trip maximum. Do not bring all of your chins at once. I don't know why anybody would ever do that, because you can't use even close to them in one trip, and if you die, you're going to lose them. So do not bring all your chins at once. Just bring about 2,000. And then a Ring of Life. If you're pretty confident that you will never disconnect or whatever, you can bring an Archer's Ring. Just personally, Ring of Life makes me feel much more safe. Looking at our inventory now, we have 3 ranging potions, an anti-poison. If you want to bring a super anti-poison, you can. I don't have any on me right now, so I'm just going to bring a regular anti-poison. A Holy Wrench. What a Holy Wrench does is it gives you extra prayer points every time you drink a dose of prayer potion. If you are less than 71 prayer, you will get 1 extra prayer point, but if you are 71 prayer or higher, you will get 2 extra prayer points per dose. House tab, monkey gree. You don't need a gree, but it is pretty useful if you have one, and if you've completed Monkey Madness, you should have one anyway. And 3 sharks, and the rest prayer potions. You will need some food because you'll take some damage getting there, so sharks are kind of important. But anyway, that's our full gear setup. If you guys are ready to go after that, just follow my path. Alrighty guys, so one more setup I want to show you is pretty much the best cheap alternative to Full Void. I realize that not everyone has Full Void, so this is a really affordable, great setup that also works. Basically, you want a God D-hide, helm, body, and legs. It doesn't matter which God D-hide, any of them work, they all have the same stats. Now the reason why you want to use this is because each piece gives 1 prayer bonus, and it all has the same range bonus as Black D-hide or Carol's, so if you don't have Void, this is pretty much the best way to go. Other than that, the setup is the exact same. Skill Cape, Salve MEI, 2K Chins, Armored Book, Bear's Gloves, Snakeskin Boots, and a Ring of Life. The inventory is also the same, 3 ranging potions, Holy Wrench, House Tab, Anti-Poison, Gree, some food, and some prayer potions. Well guys, whichever one of these setups you can use, after you are ready to go, I will show you pretty much where to go. Alright, so basically what you need to do now is make your way to the Gnome Stronghold. The way I choose to do this is start at V West, and just run north and take the spirit tree just north of here. I assume you all know how to get there, so I'll be there. I'll be back in just a second. Alright, so now that I'm here at Gnome Stronghold, I'm just going to run just north and go into the Grand Tree. Once you're there, go up to the 2nd level and travel with Thyro. If you've done Ape Atoll, or excuse me, if you've done Monkey Madness, I assume you know how to get to Ape Atoll. It's the same path you took on the quest where you just have to go with Thyro, take the glider, cross the boat with the boat. I mean, there's a lot of steps, but you guys should all remember how to get there. So I'll be back once I am at Ape Atoll. Alright, so once you are here at Ape Atoll, wield your monkey gree and run just west over here and you will see a ladder. Once I crawl down the ladder, I'm going to put a map up on the screen. That way you can see exactly where to go on the path and where to stop and where you're going to be chinning at. So I guess let's put a map up right now. Alright, so now that you've looked at the map on where you need to go, I am going to record myself. I'll just speed it up. That way you can kind of watch me. If you don't exactly understand where you need to go, you can kind of just watch where I go. Alrighty, once you are here, hopefully there's no one on this world, and there isn't, turn on Protect from Melee, make sure you're not poisoned or anything, and equip your Chinchampas, and drink a range potion. At this point you want to put on Hawkeye, and let these things come to you. Now, the reason why we're using Hawkeye and not Eagle Eye is pretty simple. Hawkeye uses, oh boy, I think it's like 11 prayer points per minute, no, it's 10 prayer points per minute, whereas Eagle Eye uses 17 prayer points per minute, so it's almost double the prayer usage, and it's only a 5% boost. So it's better to get the 10% boost from Hawkeye and use way less prayer than it is to get the extra 5% on Eagle Eye but end up using way more prayer, if you understand my logic. So once you're here, you pretty much need to start killing these guys. At first, it kind of feels like a waste of chins, but that's kind of what you have to do. You gotta kill them, that way you can get the respawns going and stuff like that. So it just takes a little bit of chinning to get them going. So I'm gonna record back in just a little bit once I got some more once I have some more monkeys to kill, where I can show you some of the methods and important things you need to do. Alright, so as you can see, I have a few more monkeys spawn right now, and basically what you want to do is make sure that they are centered. Try to get them in a fairly, packed group like this, where I can throw them at the middle of the group and it'll hit all of them. One more tip as well, you need to stay under this thing. As you can see, if I put my map up, or my mouse up, you can see that there is this kind of overhead thing, and you need to stand under this, otherwise you'll get hit for like 3s and 4s once in a while when the screens are shaking like that. If you're not standing under here, it will hit you. So that's kind of the only restriction as far as your chinning area, and that's why we have to come over here. There is multiple places you can chin, but this is pretty much the easiest area to, lure and do all that stuff. So, as you can see right now, they're pretty much just slowly gaining. We're getting more and more, and basically how the bones work is that's where the monkeys come from. In just a second, you'll see a bunch of them pop up. There you go. So now this is how you want to lure them. As you can see, there's a few like kind of stuck over here. So what I'm going to do is step over here so they can all hit me. And then I'm going to walk back in a diagonal. That's pretty much what you have to do to get them stacked up fairly well. You have to work diagonals. So just walk back and forth from kind of where I'm standing right now to that other corner, and they'll kind of fix themselves. There's no real trick to get them all to stack super hard. All you have to do is basically, once they've all spawned, run in diagonals, and that way they'll follow you and they'll kind of group up together, as you can see they are right now. And always just try and click on the center one. It is kind of hard because you can't really get your camera angle right down here in order to click on them accurately. So just kind of try and do like a overview from the top like this and just kind of click on that one. It is difficult, but it will work. So yeah, pretty much right now. Oh, also I can show you quickly the bones thing. As you see, there are 2 bones stacked up right here. So what I want to do is come over here and drop a bone. Now the reason why I want to do this is that if there are more than 1 bones stacked up on one spot, they will only spawn one at a time. Whereas if I pick up a bone and I drop it somewhere else, they can both spawn at the same time, and that way they don't have to kind of like queue and wait for the other one to spawn before the next one gets spawned. So it'll allow you to spawn more monkeys at once. So if you ever see bones stacked up like that, make sure you pick them up and spread them out. That way they can spawn as quickly as possible. That's pretty much all there is to it. I guess watch out for these little traps. These are the things that are going to hit you for damage, these floor spikes. So make sure you don't step on those. I will go over how to get them unaggressive in a little bit. But that's pretty much all there is to it. You kind of just have to get them stacked up, throw some chins at the center one. Once a few die and they kind of get all messed up, you just kind of run in diagonals to keep them lured, and it ended up working out fairly well. I'm going to wait till a few more of these die on the stack, and then what I'll do is show you one last time what to do. So these ones are about to die. The spawns are a little spread out now. I'm not getting very good XP, so what I'm going to do is run over here in a diagonal, and they will restack themselves, and I'll throw it at the center one, and more monkeys just spawned. That's pretty much all there is to getting them stacked and lured. If you guys have any questions on this, feel free to let me know. I'm going to start recording in a little bit once they go unaggressive, because it is fairly important to make sure that they're aggressive at all times. So I'll be back in just a little bit so I can show you how to get them re-aggressive. Alright, so one thing I want to go over really quickly is burning bones. As you can see, there are burning bones on the ground right now, and this is just part of the environment. Basically what it does is it makes sure that you can't overpopulate. Once in a while the bones will just burn off and they won't spawn a monkey. If you think about it, if this didn't happen, you could spawn like 1,000 monkeys and just get ridiculous XP, so that's kind of necessary. They burn off once in a while. I mean, it's not like you do anything wrong, it's just part of it. Also, as you can see, they are not aggressive at the moment. If I walk over here so I can actually see, this one is just wandering around at the moment. So basically what I need to do is get them re-aggressive. So what I'm going to do is avoid these traps, be very careful, and just run this way. Come out here and run straight east for a while. Once you go east for a little bit, these monkeys will attack you. Once they attack you, you're pretty much good. You can run back over. And once I do that, you'll see that all of them will be re-aggressive on me, and you can start luring again. Well, guys, that's pretty much all I need to show you as far as chinning goes. Now you know how to lure them. You know how to deal with the burning, you know what the burning bones do. And now you know how to get them re-aggressive. Hope you guys all did enjoy this guide. If you did, feel free to leave a like. And if you have any questions, let me know down below, and I'll be sure to help. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.